Hello, all. Welcome back to the Exposing Grief YouTube channel, which we're removing that stigma of grief, exposing it for what it truly is, which is a natural and healthy way of living and loving. I'm excited to bring this interview to you. I'm sitting with Ashley Mondor. She is a master coach and a heart healer and a fantastic human and has so much good information to share for you. So I don't want to waste another minute. Let's jump in and hear what she has to say. Okay, hello all. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm so excited to be sitting with Ashley Mondor. She is a master coach and heart healer. And aside from being an incredible human being, she also does amazing work with her clients. So I'm excited to have you here and talk a little bit about what it is that you do and how you might be able to help those who are walking through a grief journey. So first, just tell us a little bit more about yourself, your business, and what got you into the line of work that you're in.
Oh, thank you for having me here.
Excited
Grateful. So forever grateful that your spirit collided with mine last year so that we could be like friends and jam out about all the things that I think people would find nerdy or heavy. And we're like, let's
100%.
talk about it.
Yes.
So my journey started about 5 years ago now, where I was in a super toxic job, like so toxic that on Sundays I would cry because I couldn't fathom going there for another 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can relate, right? That's a heavy feeling. So before that though, like while I was in that job, I had the inspiration to listen to a podcast featuring this business coach where she talked about living a life of freedom and breaking the glass ceiling, like shattering it where you don't even have one, and really loving people to the best of your ability through your strengths, your gifts, all that. And I thought, what is that? And it was basically coaching, and I didn't know coaching existed outside of like sports, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like,
right. Yeah.
Okay. But then I learned that like you could hold space for people to heal through the depths of their pain and their wounding. And through this journey, I basically got master certified in NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, which works with your subconscious mind. I got master Reiki teaching certified, where you help people energetically. Like I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. Like I have all of these tools in my tool belt to help people navigate grief and navigate hardship and trauma and wounding. So thank God I followed that journey to get to here, where now I'm full-time and not in a corporate job, and I do exactly what I love. And getting again to jam out with you in this way, it's like, whoa,
Truly mind blowing. And it's amazing how the environment that you are in or the life you've created for yourself impacts the work we do with our clients. Mm-hmm. So I think that just speaks to, stepping out of the client role, right, for the viewers who are watching or whatever, but then it's stepping into the provider role of, if we are not our best self, it is really, really hard for us to then provide what our clients are looking for. So it's nice to be sitting with someone, and hopefully viewers, you're seeing this as well, it's nice to be listening to someone who truly has found your whole, right, your best self. So that is super exciting. So in many conversations that you and I've had, which have been many, you've mentioned that you do a lot of work with the subconscious mind and embodiment. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about this concept and speak to how this may influence one's grief journey.
Yeah, totally. So I am obsessed with the subconscious mind because it runs 99% of our programming, right? Our beliefs, our thoughts, our identity, how we show up in the world or how we don't show up in the world. And the big thing is, from 0 to 7, you're basically a sponge. So you are taking in all of this information. Like if you were handed a freaking stack of books for how to be in our world, in our culture, your brain is just doing it for you automatically. That's amazing. And also you're taking in all of the ways that maybe you lost love, maybe you were reprimanded, or you watch how people navigate grief or how they don't, right? How do you process your emotions? And from that place, it's how you show up in the world, how you hold on to pain, how you move forward or you don't on your healing journey. And so I totally dove into the subconscious because we have fears, limiting beliefs, all of those things, but also a lot of the practitioners I see right now in this space, they're just starting to become more trauma informed. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal, especially with grief, because if we don't know and understand how to process our emotions without judgment or narrative or anything, like what happens? We see it later on down the road as it can manifest as disease.
Yeah.
we don't want to hold on to things if we can
Right.
have someone hold a non-judgmental and safe space for us to process.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of my work, especially with the embodiment piece. Like I teach people, there are these emotions you have for a reason. They're messengers for your healing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we can, honor those and feel them and process them in a safe way, I mean, oh my God, what that's going to do for you.
Truly.
Mhm.
Truly. Yeah. I'm curious. So you mentioned this piece about, the subconscious mind and fears and all of that. One of the biggest fears, and this is one among many for my clients, but one that I talk to a lot of clients about is this fear of forgetting their person, or the fear of doing the grief work, because that then means they don't love their person as much, or they're not going to continue to carry them on. Can you speak a little bit to how the subconscious mind might be playing a part in that, and what, not giving all of your tips and tricks, but maybe what working with someone around that issue might look like?
Yeah, I really deeply honor that fear because, on one hand, what you're saying is I want them to be in my life forever. I don't want to forget them and the memory of them and their voices and their love. And
Yeah.
also, what will that mean for me when it's time for me to leave? I
Mm.
don't want to be forgotten. I
Mm.
want to be loved and held, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's just such a primal thing for us as humans, is like we don't want to be forgotten. Like we came
Right.
here, but please.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think my work specifically with people, especially when they're grieving, is we're actually here at a time on the planet where we are getting to experience more spiritually, like
Mm.
our loved ones who are on the other side and how we have always been connected. So when you navigate the grief journey, especially with someone who can hold you, you
Mm.
actually foster and strengthen that connection with them. Like you begin to see and feel them and see the messages and hear them. But when you are, really lost in your grief and you're not processing, it kind of acts like a cloud, right?
Mm.
It creates this like fog matter around your energy when they're
Yeah.
like, I'm here. I love you. I'm still here. And you could never lose that love.
Right.
That's it. Never.
Yeah.
But I understand the fear.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of it, starting out with clients is just holding the space for it and acknowledging of like, yeah, that's a very valid fear. And let's talk about it, right? Let's not jump really right into fixing it, but let's talk about what that fear is and how it manifests. And, um, yeah, just holding and recognizing the energy around that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and they're always there. And part of the thing too as a human is we don't have them in the physical, right?
Mm.
But like they chose to go because their soul called them to, and now you get to experience even more of their breadth, depth, and majesty as a soul. Like, oh
Yeah.
my, there's even more love, even like there's no pain there, right? And so it's the opportunity for you to heal, and through your healing you honor them.
Yeah. 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 That's absolutely. Yeah. And I will say, people need to be in a certain part of their grief to hear that and to
Mhm.
recognize that. But I think that's where you can be so beneficial to those in their grief journey of recognizing, okay, some people may not be at the beginnings or whatever. They may be in this spot of, I'm ready for more, but I don't know
Mhm.
what that more is. And you might
Mhm.
be able to provide that for them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I also think now, well, I had this thought the other day that I was going to share about, but it's why it's really important to find people that you resonate with, especially as a practitioner, because I have referred multiple clients to you, Brittany, because I know and
Thank
trust
you.
how you can hold them. And
Yeah.
also it's like, and then when they're ready to go to this next part with me, if that's what they
Right.
feel called to, right? So it's just like we're holding hands with one another because I
Absolutely.
trust you.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. And it's this truly, I mean, I would never hesitate to send a client to you because I trust you as well. And I know you're going to hold them. And two, I mean, my clients, I love them so dearly and I just don't want any harm to be done. And I work with a lot of clients who have trauma with attached to their grief. So it's really important for me to send them to somebody who not only does trauma work, but also understands grief and is going to hold space for that and respect that.
Mhm.
And that is not an issue with you. I trust that you would create that space for them to hold them in whatever way that looks like.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I receive.
So this kind of leads into the next question. So for the viewers who are interested, can you share a little bit about what a typical session with you looks like, and or the various ways in which clients can work with you?
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that question. So right now I'm like, I'm hyper focused on two areas. So one, I have 60-minute heart-to-heart sessions where whatever you're navigating, and more often what I'm seeing now is like people who are navigating infidelity, the loss of a marriage, right? Relationship breakups, they're feeling stuck or lost in their life, their career, their business. And you come to me with like, what's top of mind for you right now? Why is this impacting you? And so you book a session for 60 minutes. I have a 2 questionnaire that you tell me basically what you're navigating. And then I read through it and I hold the space for you to process. And part of it is energetics, right? Because my work on the planet is to help heal people's hearts. And that happens through my heart in the space. But the other part is, asking really deep questions that maybe you haven't thought of before that I receive intuitively, or, inviting you to think of doing or being or thinking differently so that we can help you on your journey. My goal is for people to leave feeling lighter, clear, more empowered in whatever it is that they're moving through. So that's one, heart to heart. And then my second is I have a year-long transformational journey called Devotion. And it's where we teach you and empower you and reveal to you who you actually are and who you were made and born to be on the planet before conditioning got to you, before you saw all of the programs that told you you were not enough, you're not smart enough, you don't know, can't do, can't any of these things. It's like, actually, who are you really? And how can you be that soul expression in the world? So I teach basically once a week. I give them journal prompts and I have guided meditations and subliminal tracks and all these things to help you on a subconscious level, because that's where change really, really happens, right? Especially if it's running 99% of your programming.
Right.
Yeah. So it's so fun. Oh my God, I wish for everyone on the planet to find what it is that moves their heart and that they follow it so wholeheartedly, because when you find it, it's like, oh my God, this exists. I get to do this in the world.
It's pretty incredible. It's unlike anything else. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I also think too, and I know for you and for me, there's a lot of pain that we've walked through with integrity. And because we've navigated that and then pursued what it is that helps us become better, more deeper, more grounded space holders. Like there's a reason, right? So when someone comes to you and they're like, I lost so-and-so in my life, not only do you have your tools, but you're like, I know what that feels like in my body. I know that pain. There's a language that we can speak, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just another way for us to connect with those that we're guiding. And I mean, obviously we can never say, I know exactly what you're going through, but we can align with them in that way. And it helps them feel less alone, which I mean, mental health in general, or any sort of trauma or whatever it is that we're going through can feel isolating, but particularly grief can feel so isolating. Yeah. Oh, so what would you say for someone who is going through their grief journey, when working with you might be really beneficial for them and when it may not be? What would they be experiencing? What can they look for?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I would say first, if there is something that you're navigating, just message me, because again, I'm connected to you, Brittany, right? So it's like, I know my scope of practice and I know who would be best beneficial. If it's not me, I will always refer you to someone that I love. If it is me, usually what happens is they've navigated their grief to a certain point where they're ready to expand into more conscious connection with spirit. So they've gone through the emotions and they don't feel as heavy all the time. They're starting to peak out of that level of grief, right? But if it's before then, I would say consider working with a grief counselor, therapist. Yeah.
Wonderful. What is the best way for people to connect with you? How can we get a hold of you for those who are interested?
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I mainly hang out on Instagram. So I have this really cool name. It's Ashley.Mondor, Ashley.Mondor. And send me a message. What's so fun is when I get to connect with people like you and they're like, oh my God, I heard you on Brittany's, interview podcast, all these things. And I'm like, oh, yes. Then I get to see what energy was woven for that to happen, right? Like it's so fun. So hang out with me on
Absolutely.
Instagram.
Yes. So Instagram is the best one. And also viewers, if you're listening, be sure to let her know how you found her. Whether that's through this channel or another thing, be sure to let her, any other ways, or is kind of Instagram your preferred go-to?
So Instagram is where I show up all the time. And then also I have Facebook, which is my personal one. But if you email me at hello@ashleymondor.com, I'm also there. Which is fun. Yes.
And viewers, I will put her stuff down in the chat too. So it's all right there. So you don't have to go searching for it. Any other things you'd like our viewers to know, or anything else you want to say about your work and what you can offer? I mean, just amazing. Everything you do. I appreciate your passion, your genuine passion. I can feel it radiating even just through a computer connection. So viewers, please know that if you feel her energy and passion now, imagine what that's going to be like in person when you actually work with her. Anything else that you want our viewers to know?
First, thank you so much. I really let that in, my heart. God, I would say the bravest thing that you can do is heal. And it doesn't have to be this grand leap. It can be one step. Maybe it's sitting down for a moment and just breathing. Maybe it's sending Brittany or someone like myself a message to say, I'm ready. It can feel like it's so much, but it's that one step that helps you, come down from the mountain. And it only has to be one step to get the ball rolling, right? So if it's sitting with yourself, if it's reading a book, if it's being gentle or compassionate, if it's breathing, if it's connecting, just take the step, because it's going to take you so much farther, but it has to be you feeling ready.
Yes.
That's all.
And I'll expand on that too, if that's okay, of, this piece of sending us a message and saying, I'm ready. Even if you send us a message and say, hey, I've been watching your stuff, or I've come across your stuff, I'm not quite ready to go that far, but do you have any other resources, or what do you recommend? We're happy to help you. We are here for you as a resource. So even if it's not jumping into a 60-minute session with Ashley, or her year-long program, or jumping into a grief counseling journey with me, please reach out, because there are resources that we can connect you to. There are other people we can connect you to start taking that step, like Ashley's saying. So it doesn't always have to be, yes, I'm 100% ready. It can be, hey, I'm grieving. I'm not ready, like totally ready, but I want to do something. We're here for you.
And even the thought of, I'm going to reach out, like, that's your heart telling you something, and we honor it and we celebrate it. And then we follow through with that. Right. So I love it.
I always, for anyone who reaches out via my website or phone call or whatever, I am always sure to highlight, good for you for taking that first step, because I know how hard that can be. So I appreciate you taking that step and being brave to do so. So it's so good. Oh yes. The bravest thing you can do is heal. I love it.
Oh, I love us. I love you. I love everyone.
I love you, viewers. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I thank you so much again for your time. Viewers, if you're interested, like I said, her contact information is down there. Please go check her out. Reach out if you have any questions. You can reach out to myself as well. Otherwise, again, thank you for your time. And I think you have such great things to share with our viewers. And viewers, I hope you find any information in here, whether it's bits and pieces or the whole thing, useful, and you start integrating that into your grief journey in whatever way that looks like.
Thank you. Yes, I love you. You're the best.
Thank you. All right, viewers, I will be back in June. So keep out. We got more content and interviews and all this fun stuff coming. So be sure to stay tuned, subscribe if you have not yet, so you don't miss any content. And we will be back in June. We'll see you later.
Wow. Ashley, thank you again for your time. It was an absolute pleasure interviewing you. Viewers, I hope you enjoyed listening to what she has to say. Such an incredible approach to healing, and I absolutely love Ashley's comment on the bravest thing you can do is heal. I could not agree more. So I would encourage you to start exploring, what do you need to heal, and what might that process look like? And if that's reaching out to Ashley, her contact information is below. If that's reaching out to myself, my contact information is below. Or if it's just exploring more of these videos, do that. Whatever you need, I encourage you to embark on your journey of healing, whatever that might look like. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Stick around for the great content I have coming in June. Have a happy, great rest of your May, and I will see you next month.